Good morning, friends. Today I want to speak to you about the Bihar elections. Back to back from Maharashtra to Haryana to Delhi and now Bihar, the election results are surprising. No one really expected the results to be such. In Haryana, when we were expecting Congress to form the government, it was actually BJP that formed the government. In Maharashtra, it was a clean sweep. In Delhi, again, the fight was not as close as everyone expected. And now, coming to Bihar, even Amit Shah could not expect such a large margin. And why is that happening? There are a few factors that we need to consider. One of the major factors in Bihar was the transfer of 10,000 rupees. Revdi system wherein you give an incentive to the voter in exchange of vote. Now, Bihar as a state does not have enough money to give it continuously. But as we all know, that the transfer move was made to over crore women just before the elections. And even during the elections, they received that 10,000 sum. Bihar does not have that money. It got from center or from the bank. Now, going forward, every state will now give out money, dole out cash. It's a strong precedent, and election commission should have stopped it. The election commission should have said, no, this is illegal, because essentially you're just handing out cash in exchange for vote. Nitish's government, Nitish was literally in power for last 20 years. Couldn't have he distributed the same amount of money back then, but it didn't happen. The second point was 2024 election, since Yanesh Gupta has taken over, has been the addition and subtraction of voters. So previously we'd seen addition of voters in Maharashtra, where migratory voters were added to the list, which was an unusual rise in the number of voters in Maharashtra. We'd seen a similar thing, plus what was added now was addition and subtraction in Bihar. So SIR of the voter list was conducted in a hurry in Bihar and was completed within 3 months. What technically takes 6 to 8 months was completed in 3 months. The matter is still in Supreme Court, is being discussed on as to whose vote were cut and what was the hurry to do that. A lot of people are saying there are no protesters saying that their vote has been cut or not. See, voting is not an essential duty of the citizen, but they do it for their own country because that is their right. A lot of money is spent by the election commission to ask people to vote. So if you cut someone's voting right or do not provide them with their voting card, they would be happy to skip the voting altogether. How many of them were really poor, marginalized people who it took us about 70 years to get them to voting booth, but it took them only 3 months to remove them from the voting list. Anyway, so there are voters we've seen being added suddenly in the voting list. A lot of people do not realize that every detail of every house is available to the local BLO and BLA, and there is a proper channel being run by BJP which analyzes who their voter base is and who isn't, and those who are not their supporters are purposely kept out from the voter roll, or their name is given to the election commission to remove their name. So when we analyze the number, we realize that this could have been a factor that changed about 40 to 50 seat results. I would not say that we were winning Bihar or Mahagathbandhan was clearly winning Bihar or AAP was winning Delhi, but the difference could not have been more than 1 to 2%, which was essentially 9%. Now, media does not really want to show for obvious reasons, because it is being run by private companies that want advertisements from this government, and therefore they do not want to blame the government for anything. They do not want to show the ruling party in a bad light, and so there was a propaganda run on television. There were discussions, debates on which even I was a part of, that were essentially focusing on Jungle Raj. For last 20 years, there are entire two generations that have grown up, and they're still talking about 1990s. I mean, it is surprising that media did not really say that it's been 20 years. There is technological advancement. You cannot remain in 1990. So the focus was to show RJD and the Tejaswi Lalu family as Jungle Raj family, where Jungle Raj would return, and that narrative kind of gave them a big boost. As for the Congress, we really could have done better. But I would not blame any of our leaders because they were there on the ground. They were raising issues, and we were raising prominent issues such as school, education, healthcare. We do not have the election commission with us, we do not have the media with us, and we do not have the funds like BJP has to be able to change voter list or give out cash benefits. Fighting an election requires a lot of money because every booth, every worker expects something from you to do that extra bit. RSS and BJP have a lot of money and a lot of ground to do that. The opposition parties do not have even 1/10 of the funds that are available to BJP and RSS today. So it becomes increasingly more difficult for us to fight an election. Bihar election is actually good for the party because the difference is so much that it kind of people are already talking about the gap being so wide, and there has to be a reason why it was so wide. 10-20 vote difference, 10-20 seat difference would have been a normal difference between the two winners and loser. But this is huge. This is not acceptable. And wait for a couple of months. We will come out with something very substantial to show whose names were cut, why were they cut, and whose names were added, and how migratory voters travel to different cities and states and vote for the BJP party. Because today it might be acceptable to you, but tomorrow, if the same is being done by someone who is not capable of running the government, they may come to power and they may start doing the same things, which may sound legal because it's being done right now. You don't want that scenario to occur again. So that was just my two bit for my friends and family and those who listen to me. That just hold your horses. We are working on a solution. We are working on the reason, and definitely this time we'll not take it easy. 2026 is for the opposition. Thank you. Jai Hind.